Understanding the differences between blending modes is really not very glamorous, but it's crucial information when it comes to the underlying logic behind this method. The number one goal of this process is to optimize your underpainting. So you probably spent a long time getting the value arrangement just right, and it would be counterproductive to demolish it with color and to lose all that work. So with that in mind, the first phase of coloring is all about glazing. I'm going to begin with multiply, or glaze layers, to establish the generalized palette. In this way, the method follows the traditional thin to thick process. So you'll notice I've got a mini palette that I keep on its own layer that I've just made some pre-mixed swatches to keep my palette on track. I can hide this, and it's just there as a reminder. Remembering that glaze layers have a tendency to darken your image, I like to paint with low saturation, high value colors. So I'll use the mini palette as a starting point. This is actually a little too low value for me, so I'm going to make it a little brighter and a little less saturated. Hide my mini palette and make some glaze layers. Here I'm using the soft round brush to glaze in the sky color. And I'm going to have it start blue up top and fade to a bit more magenta at the bottom. And I can use large confident strokes using the soft round brush. And because this is only on one layer, I don't have the ability to darken it any further than it already is. If I were to add a second glaze layer and pick that high value, low saturation blue again, I could darken it down. So I'll use the soft eraser to achieve the level that I'm looking for. Now, because I don't want his skin to have too much of that blue color, it's going to end up more of a warm orange and neutrals. I'll use the soft eraser to erase out some of that blue. So in the same way that you glaze in with the brush, you can erase out and remove some of that color with the eraser. And I'll do the same on the axe blade a little bit. And on the helmet. Now, as I work here, I like to use lots of individual layers temporarily. This is the method that I call the temp layers method in the Digital Painting 101 section. So if you haven't watched that, it's worth going back and checking it out. So to facilitate this, I've made myself a keyboard shortcut that triggers an action. So in a single key press, in this case F2, I make a new glaze layer. So one of the nice things about glazing is that you get a subtle, slow color buildup. And in fact, you can encourage this by lowering the flow on your brush so that not as much pigment is coming out at one time. And this will encourage color variation. This effect can be hard to see on the video, but I'm slowly adding little bits of purple color and erasing it away to create the backside of the clouds, where it'd be a bit more shadowed. So I'm painting with the soft round and then erasing out what I don't want to get a bit of a color variation where I'm overlaying purple over the blue. And then I'll make another glaze layer, F2, or whatever your keyboard shortcut might be. And I'll paint in some more darker purple, some atmosphere under on the ground layer, down by his feet. And that about covers the background. So I'm going to take a quick break. In the next video, I'm going to continue with the glazing phase and begin to glaze in his skin tones.